please rise? Please be seated.
Thank you, Catherine. Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to start with a poem today, actually, before we sing our opening hymn. And it's a poem that obviously that I enjoy and that I like, but I think it just reminds me as well to be present, try and stay as present as I can, and not just sort of from a physical standpoint, but also from a mental standpoint and an emotional standpoint too. It's by Tom Wayman. Did I miss anything? Nothing. When we realized you weren't here, we sat with our hands folded on our desks in silence for the full 2 hours. Everything. I gave an exam worth 40% of the grade for this term and assigned some reading due today, in which I'm about to hand out a quiz worth 50%. Nothing. None of the content of this course has value or meaning. Take as many days off as you like. Any activities we undertake as a class, I assure you, will not matter either to you or me, and are without purpose. Everything. A few minutes after we began last time, a shaft of light suddenly descended, and an angel or other heavenly being appeared and revealed to us what each woman or man must do to attain divine wisdom in this life and the hereafter. This is the last time the class will meet before we disperse to bring the good news to all people on earth. Nothing. When you are not present, how could something significant occur? Everything. Contained in this classroom is a microcosm of human experience assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. This is not the only place such an opportunity has been gathered, but it was one place, and you weren't here. We'll now sing I Vow to Thee, My Country. Please stand. The lyrics will be up on the screen. Sit down, please. Wow, it's a beautiful hymn, that. So we've got to make light of the dismal weather this morning. This is a pretty momentous day, I think. Yes? Is it a momentous day? Yeah. Does anybody not know what's happening today? So this could, what happens today and in the next 48 hours, the next week, could actually affect billions of people across the world. That's how potentially powerful it is. And somehow the USA has that impact, and has had that impact for quite a while.
I can go back to when I was 11. I know, hard to conceive of that. This little Scottish kid with black hair, get it? Black hair. I remember JFK's inauguration, and I remember JFK's assassination, both as if they were yesterday. His inauguration, if you haven't checked that speech out, I would recommend to you that you do. It's a masterpiece of oratory and contains some absolutely admirable thoughts and sentiments. And then the impact, again, for this little Scottish kid in Edinburgh, thousands of miles away from the USA and JFK, like we were in mourning when that happened. And that was 1963, just to show you. Your parents weren't born at that time. Never mind you. There's nobody else in the chapel, I think, that was born at that time. So, I'm not going to talk about politics really, though, because that's inappropriate for me to do that. What I am going to talk about a little bit is, if you'll bear with me, is leadership. And how leadership is integrally bound up with role modeling and values, and how we may not have seen the best of leadership over the last while if we've been tuning into the TV and to debates and all that type of thing. Because democracy is actually founded on discussion and debate. That's the whole premise of democracy. You have differing views, you interpret something differently, you discuss them, you debate them. You don't kill each other, you don't fight over them, you try and learn from each other. As I've often quoted in the past, if you stick this saying in your head, it will guide you. The aim of discussion is progress, not victory. The aim of discussion is progress, not victory, right? And sadly, it seems to have been twisted towards victory. It's just about beating the other person. And that's not what it's about. It's all about learning something, a different point of view, something that you hadn't thought about. So what did we get instead of that? Instead of learning and instead of that sort of more elevated approach to leadership, we got name calling, we got sort of interruption, we got inappropriate remarks, we got bullying, quite frankly, we got rudeness, we got lack of respect. Now, we would not tolerate those things in our families. We wouldn't tolerate those things in school or in our families. And yet, we're subjected to them on this national level. And it's very worrying for me, because there are lots of young people like you that may be watching this and thinking, unless they're getting better guidance from school or home, thinking, oh, that's what you do. That's okay. Yeah, it's okay to do that. Well, hear it from me, from the old guy. It's not okay to do that. It's just not okay to do that. We're looking for higher values in our leadership. The things that we talk about frequently. We're looking for honesty. We're looking for compassion. We're looking for trust. We're looking for honor. We're looking for courtesy. We're looking for kindness. Kindness. Wow. I was so impressed not so long ago when I heard that somebody, some very wealthy family, made a bequest to UCLA to create a faculty of kindness, a whole faculty of kindness in a university where they can study kindness and they can promote kindness and take it to where they can take it. I thought that was so uplifting that people would be focusing on that. Gandhi, to name someone that you've probably heard of a few times, way back in the 1920s, Gandhi wrote a thing called his 7 deadly social sins. You can again check that out. It's worth reading. He was talking about the balance between things. Wealth without conscience. You can't have great wealth without having a conscience. And he went through, one of the ones that he highlighted was politics without principle. How dangerous that is. Politics without principle. Now you could say to me, well, Mr. Robertson, we're not really interested in all this stuff. And what impact can we have? What can we do? Well, you can't change the world yet. You may eventually, but you can't change it yet. But as I said to you before, you can change your world. You can role model the right way of being. You can embrace the right values. And you can learn, right? Because in learning, we avoid the greatest danger of all. I was asked 20 years ago in an interview, what's the greatest danger to the future of the world? And everybody was expecting, I think, me to say something about nuclear war or something like that. And I said ignorance. And I stand by that answer all these years ago, all these years later. Ignorance. Ignorance is the greatest danger to the future of the world. Why? Because prejudice is the natural development of ignorance. If you don't take the time to find out, if you don't know, if you don't learn more, then you risk having these prejudices. And if you have those prejudices, it's going to colour your actions and produce more extreme situations. So that's why I think ignorance is the greatest danger. So what is my advice to you people this morning? Listen, learn, read, discuss in the way that I talked about. And reserve a little bit of doubt. Don't believe everything you hear or read. Even more so these days, with all the stuff that's out there and fake news. Don't believe everything you read or hear. You have to, that's the essence of a critical mind. And you want to have a critical mind, a mind that examines the evidence, right? So, don't just swallow everything. I wonder whether you'll be looking back on this day, November the 3rd, 2020, in 57 years' time, and looking on it as a pretty momentous day. And I hope you are, and I hope it's for all the right reasons. Thanks, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. So thank you, Mr. Robertson. This ties in very nicely. And Mr. Robertson's right. This is a momentous day. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was the importance of standing up and how we support our communities. Mr. Craig and I are super delighted because our sister-in-law is actually working in Detroit today to help turn out Black voters. And we are really proud of her because she is standing up for her community and what she believes in. And that's on a national scale. But here, we have a number of people who stand up in our own community. And they contribute to everything that we do. And it's one of the reasons I love working in grade 8 and 9 is because the amount of you who stand up and really participate in what we do as a school to try and make our community a really strong and wonderful place is really tremendous. So I'm curious, okay? And just very quickly, if you have over 10 service hours so far this year, can you stand up for me, please? Wow, we've been here for not even 2 months. Congratulations to you, and thank you for your support. Okay, if you are one of our fairy buddies who helps our younger students from Salt Spring Island get to school every day, could you stand up for a moment, please? Thank you for helping our community. You can sit down. One of our students that has been volunteering after schools 1 day a week to help our activity club in our kindergarten to grade 3s. Can you stand up for a minute, please? Thank you very much. Kaden and Yuri, who helped with our student election and ran that for our grade 8s and 9s. Can you stand up, please? If you are one of my 6 students that helped run our cross-country ISABC last week. Can you stand up for a moment, please? Look at all these thank you. If you're a member of our trail building club, and you've been out there helping build our trail and make these wonderful outdoor learning spaces, thank you very much. And if you donated food or collected food and moved it around the school the last few days to support the Cowichan Valley Basket Society, can you stand up for a moment, please? Did you bring food in, Marcus? There we go. Okay. What we do and what we bring to our community makes us a stronger community. Everyone who has stood up today has really brought something special to what we do at QMS. So thank you to you. There are still, if you didn't get a chance to stand up, or you're thinking, wow, what else can I do, Mrs. Craig? There are still lots of opportunities coming. We will be running a clothing drive, and we have a number of other service opportunities as we lead into the Christmas break. But I also have Bella Kendler and Hannah Cohen, who are going to come and talk about the KIND project this morning. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Hannah,
Hi, I'm Bella.
and we're looking for volunteers to help with the KIND fundraising programs.
The KIND fundraiser is based off a program called UNICEF, which is a humanitarian organization that works towards ensuring the safety of children all over the world. Specifically, the program that we're specifically focusing on here is the KIND project.
Working for UNICEF really makes me happy to see the difference we're making in the lives of the children. Before they were sitting on the floor, they have to put their books against their legs to the right properly. But then if they have the desk, it makes a massive difference. And particularly for the girls, because they sit comfortably and no one is making fun of them when they are getting up. When I see the joy on the faces of the kids, I can relate. As part of my education, I was in a school where I was sitting on the floor. Then I went to a school where I was able to sit on the desk. It really changed my life. You can only imagine what else they can achieve in life.
KIND stands for Kids in Need of Desks. Despite our right to education, there are millions of kids in the world who don't have the same opportunities that we do. This fundraiser is looking to raise money for schools that are in need of desks.
We are looking for ways our school can contribute to helping other schools around the world get the resources and money they need. We are hoping to plan a fundraiser during the month of November to raise money for kids in need of desks.
If you have any ideas of how we can raise money and awareness for KIND, or want to help plan a fundraiser, if you want service hours, please attend a meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Miss Craig's room. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mr. Craig and Bella and Hannah for that presentation. Just on that note, I think it just again worthy of a repetition. If you'd like to come and speak in chapel, it would be great to hear from different voices. Okay, whether that's students, staff, or someone from your families that you feel has either had an experience or who is an expert in a particular area, or that just has something interesting to share. We'd really love to have different voices up here speaking and sharing that knowledge, and hopefully, as Mr. Robertson said, just educating us in different areas and trying to sort of decrease our ignorance, if you can do that, and if that's the right way of putting it, but you know what I mean. we're going to sing something together. It's something new, and it's not a fan favourite of Mr. Robertson's. In fact, I don't think he really likes this one very much. Not interested to me earlier. But we're committed, we're into it. And hopefully you agree with me and think it's a nice tune. Miss Hanson, the talent overfloweth. And when I challenged her this morning and said, do you think we could sing this one? I think she's listened to it once. She's had a quick look at it and she goes, well, I'll probably play it by memory. So those of you who aren't as musical as Miss Hanson, just sort of look at that sort of thing in awe. But anyway, Miss Hanson, thanks for your efforts. And please stand, we're going to sing Immortal Invisible. Thank you.
Sit down, please. Just very briefly, that is a lovely tune. It's a lovely hymn, actually. I think I may have called it a dreadful dirge, but that's only because I've been singing it since I was about 11 years old, going back to where I started. Well done, Bella and Hannah. UNICEF is something dear to my heart, as some of you may know. I so believe in the whole concept of every child deserves a childhood, and you would be amazed. I get the privileged insight into what's happening all over the world because of that, because of my involvement, and you'd just be amazed at how many things that we take for granted, other kids just don't come anywhere near, you know. And this is an interesting take on it, just something as simple as a desk. So let's see if we can get behind that, and I'm obviously totally supportive of it and look forward to seeing what we can do as a community. So thanks everybody, have a good day and keep learning right throughout the day. Thanks.